Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Ishita, your chemistry faculty at Akash. I hope you all are doing fine and your preparations are going super fine. So we all know that since NEET is approaching and we all are aware that the official date for our exam has already been announced. So I'm here to tell you that there's no need to panic because we've come up with this series which is NEET exam favorites, wherein we will be discussing the favorite chapters of NEET of all of the subjects, right? And also not just the chapters, we'll be giving a quick revision of the previous year questions based on those chapters, right? So buckle up, and because we've got you covered, and let's just start with the session. So today we'll be discussing the chapter coordination compound, one of the most important chapter of inorganic chemistry, and literally I can say that it is indeed the favorite, one of the favorites chapter of NEET as well, right? So start करते हैं अब इस chapter से. So before diving into the most important topics or actual crux of coordination compound, we should be aware of at least the basic definition and basic concepts of coordination compound. Starting from, you should know the central metal atom, the ligands basically the donor atoms which will be directly connected to the central metal atom, right? And the oxidation number, that is the charge on the central metal atom. Coordination number, that is the donor atoms which are basically directly bonded to the central metal atom, right? The coordination sphere, which is the square bracket you see in your coordination complexes, right? I'm assuming कि हम सबको ये basic definitions तो पता ही है. So now let's just move forward to a very important topic, that is the nomenclature of coordination compounds, right? Previous year में भी इससे बार-बार question आता है, and let's just discuss the same with the help of a previous year question. So this is NEET 2022 phase 1 asked the exact nomenclature of a complex. Further moving to the first theory of coordination compounds, that is the Werner's theory, right? अब Werner's theory में क्या हुआ था? Werner basically explained two types of linkages between the ligand and the metal. First, he denoted it as primary valency, and the next he denoted it as a secondary valency. We all know that, right? Primary valency और secondary valency में difference क्या था? Primary valency was basically ionizable, right? And secondary valency was non-ionizable. This was the very peculiar difference between both of the valencies. Primary valency was satisfied by negatively charged species, whereas secondary valency was being satisfied by either neutral or negatively charged species. Okay, so this was the very basic difference between the valencies that Werner depicted. First was what? Primary valency, and the other was secondary valency, right? Moving further to ligands, the crux of coordination compound is now starting. Ligands. So based on the denticity of the ligand were classified. So monodentate examples were H2O, NH3, Cl minus, all the halogens Cl minus, Br minus, right? Bidentate, ethylene, diamine, and oxalate, right? So these were bidentate since they had two donor atoms which were donating their electron pairs simultaneously to the central metal atom. For polydentate, EDTA. Now this is what has a denticity of 4 and 6. Since it has two denticity, so therefore it is also known as a flexidentate, right? Because it has a variable denticity. So 4 and 6 denticity, again not bidentate or monodentate, came into the category of polydentate. Now ambidentate, right? A special category of ligands because of the denticity of ligands. Ambidentate were basically the ligands which had two donor atoms which could donate their electron pairs directly to the central metal atom, but at a time only one donor atom was able to donate its electron pair, right? So this was ambidentate. Examples were NO2 minus, right, and NCS minus. Okay, so NO2 minus, how did it get attached to the ligand? एक बार ऑक्सीजन ने अपने इलेक्ट्रॉन पेयर्स को डोनेट किया और एक बार नाइट्रोजन ने भी अपने इलेक्ट्रॉन पेयर्स को डोनेट किया, but not together, right? Only one donor atom could donate its electron pair at a time. So that's why it was ambidentate. NH2, CH2, CH2, NH2. Okay, so now if both the donor atoms, that is two donor atoms are present here, nitrogen and nitrogen, if both of them are donating their electron pairs to the central metal atom at a time, right? So we can see that a ring will be formed, a 5-membered ring will be formed here, right? I'll make it as CH2, CH2, NH and NH2, donating their electron pairs to the metal atom, right? So a 5-membered ring is formed here. Now since a 5-membered ring is formed here, that's why this ring formation effect is known as chelation effect, right? So that was a very important topic for ligands also. Now coming to structural isomerism and stereoisomerism, a very important concept of coordination compound. So अब देखते हैं कि structural isomerism में है क्या basically. So NCERT mentions 4 types of structural isomerism in case of coordination compounds, that is ionization, solvate isomerism, linkage isomerism and coordination isomerism. All of them have been explained in the NCERT itself. So I'm assuming we all know these isomers, and now we'll just discuss the previous year question which came in NEET 2024. See, CONH3 whole 5 NO2 Cl2, right? So this will be acting as what? This has ambidentate. NO2 minus here is basically what? Ambidentate ligand, right? So both nitrogen and oxygen are potential donor atoms. So I hope it is clear. So NO2 minus अगर हमारे पास है, ambidentate ligand अगर complex में है, then it will definitely show linkage isomerism. Okay, so A will be matching with 2. So now अगर हम B को देखें, CONH3 5SO4 Br. So this Br is basically what? This is the counter ion, right? Since this is the counter ion, this is also a potential ligand. So now this bromide ion, the counter ion, will be able to displace this sulfate, right? And the isomer will become CONH3 5BrSO4, right? So this will be the isomer. And what type of isomerism is shown here? Ionization isomerism, right? So B matches with 3rd. Now again C, CONH3 whole 6 CrCN6. Okay, so isomer which will become will be COCN whole 6 and CrNH3 whole 6. What just happened? So the ligands, interchanging of ligands took place in both of the cationic and anionic species, right? अब ये isomer बना है जिसमें cobalt के साथ directly attached ligand is basically cyanide, whereas इस complex में क्या था? Cobalt के साथ directly attached was a neutral ligand, ammonia, NH3. So this is what? The coordination isomer of this complex, right? So C matched with 4. Now D, COH2O6 Cl3. H2O I told you, हमारे पास solvent होगा which will be able to show what? Solvate isomerism. This will be what? Showing solvate isomerism. Will match with 1, right? And will show solvate isomerism. A2, B3, C4 and D1. A2, B3, C4 and D1. So option 1 will become your right answer. Moving ahead, now we have isomerism, stereoisomerism, right? Structural we've done. Now we're moving to stereoisomerism. अब stereoisomerism में भी अगर हम बात करें तो there are basically 2 types or 2 classifications of stereoisomerism. First is geometrical isomerism, second is optical isomerism. तो अगर हम geometrical isomerism की बात करें in case of coordination compounds, तो वहाँ कैसे होगा? इस केस में हमारे पास कॉम्प्लेक्स है CONH3 whole 4 Cl2 plus. So cobalt is basically in +3 oxidation state, right? अब geometrical isomerism के केस में क्या होगा? Geometrical arrangement will change from one isomer to the other isomer. How? Suppose this is cis isomer and this is trans isomer. Both of them are geometrical isomers of each other. अब cis isomer का peculiar feature is what? That both the ligands, Cl-Cl ligands, are adjacent to each other, right? They are adjacent to each other, not oppositely arranged. So this is cis isomer. Whereas अगर मैं trans isomer की बात करूँ तो these ligands Cl and Cl are oppositely arranged to each other. Now if we come to optical isomers, this same example has been mentioned in the NCERT also. These two images are basically enantiomers of each other and non-superimposable mirror images. Non-superimposable mirror images of each other, right? And they showed optical isomerism. Now optical isomerism how? Dextro and levo. The crux of coordination compounds, which is starting from valence bond theory and crystal field theory. So अगर हम valence bond theory की बात करें, when valence bond theory was introduced, so it definitely explained the qualitative nature of magnetic property of coordination compounds, but it could not, there was one limitation of valence bond theory, that it could not explain the quantitative nature or quantitative property of the magnetic data of the coordination compounds. So that was one of the drawbacks or the limitation of valence bond theory. Give geometry like octahedral, tetrahedral, right? So these geometries were explained. Paramagnetism or diamagnetic. These things were also explained by VBT, right? Inner orbital complex, outer orbital complex were also explained by valence bond theory, but the limitation was it was able to explain the tetrahedral geometry, but it did not talk about the square planar geometry, right? So that was one of the limitations along with the quantitative magnetic data. So these were two limitations of valence bond theory, which led to the introduction of the new theory, crystal field theory, which basically talked about the electrostatic bond between the metal and ligand, right? Square planar geometry was explained along with tetrahedral and octahedral geometry, right? Quantitative magnetic data of coordination compounds were explained by crystal field theory. Okay? Quantitative data like number of unpaired electrons. Number of unpaired electrons were explained by CFT. Square planar geometry were explained by CFT. Why? Because crystal field theory showed the splitting of d orbitals. How? Splitting of d orbitals. Let me make it here. In case of octahedral and in case of tetrahedral, right? So octahedral के case में T2G and EG, right? And tetrahedral के case में E and T2. Also, crystal field theory explained the weak field ligands and the strong field ligands. कौन सा ligand weak है, कौन सा ligand strong है, ये भी explain किया crystal field theory ने along with the magnetic data, color and magnetic properties, right? Now, let me just give it here. Spectrochemical series, okay? Spectrochemical series, which went as CO, CN, EN, ammonia, water, so this was the case. Now, these all ligands were basically the strong field ligands, and the ligands after water were basically weak field ligands, right? So, अगर मैं बात करूँ CONH3 की, right? CONH3 So, this ammonia will basically act as a strong field ligand, right? So, pairing हो जाएगी 3d orbital में. So, this will basically be diamagnetic, right? Whereas अगर हम बात करें COF6 3- की, this fluoride ion is what? A weak field ligand. Halogens are weak field ligand. So, this will also have 6 electrons, right? Cobalt is in +3 oxidation state. So, 3d6, 4s0 electronic configuration. Now, this ligand is unable to pair up the electrons. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. 4 unpaired electrons is what we have. So, it will be a paramagnetic species, right? Both are the complex of cobalt, but one is diamagnetic and other is paramagnetic, but both are octahedral geometry. D2sp3 hybridized, right? And here it is sp3d2 hybridized, right? So this will become, yes, both the complexes are octahedral but differ in their magnetic behavior. Very true. Statement 2 is ammonia complex is diamagnetic, whereas the complex with fluoride ion is paramagnetic. Again true. So both statement 1 and 2 are true. Question of NEET 2024, right? Very famous questions from VBT and CFT are being asked. So that's all for this. Synergic bonding is what we have discussed, right? Has both sigma and pi character, because pi bond is formed when metal donates its electron pair to the anti-bonding pi star orbital of the carbonyl group, and sigma bond is formed when the carbon donate its electron pair, the lone pair of carbon of metal carbonyl donate its electron pair to the vacant 3d orbital of central metal atom, right? So that's how synergic bonding is formed. Now question NEET 2022 phase 2 asked this question from metal carbonyls, right? So let's just see that. Assertion A, the metal carbon bond in metal carbonyls possess both sigma and pi character. Yes, we just studied that. Reason R was the ligand to metal bond is a pi bond and metal to ligand bond is a sigma bond. Ligand to metal bond is a pi bond. Okay, ligand, that is the carbonyl to metal bond, was a pi bond, whereas it was a sigma bond, right? Because carbon donated its lone pair to the 3d vacant orbital of metal, so that was a sigma bond. And metal to ligand, metal donated its electron pair to pi star antibonding orbital of carbonyl group, right? So that was the case, so which was a pi bond. So this is not a sigma bond, pi bond was there. So assertion is true but reason is false. Assertion is correct but reason is incorrect. So option 4 was the right answer. Okay, so I hope it is clear. We've given a rough idea of coordination compound. I'm sure it will be very beneficial for all of you. So stay tuned for more such updates and for more such sessions wherein we will be discussing other chapters and their previously asked questions. So stay tuned for more such updates, and thank you and all the best.